Hey everyone, welcome to Ohio Tech Day, a statewide celebration of tech and innovation in the Buckeye State. As part of our kickoff to Ohio Tech Day today, we are joined by two leaders in the OhioX tech community. They help us take our message of building Ohio's tech hub across the state. They work at two great companies that are really invested in the growth of Ohio's tech sector. And today we're going to have a fun conversation with them about their history and technology, what they do, what their companies do, and any recommendations for you as a student to consider tech and innovation careers. And so as we get going, I'd love to welcome up first Laura to the virtual stage, if you will, Laura. But if you don't mind doing an introduction of yourself and what you do at Status Solutions and a little bit about you.
Sure. I am the Director of Community Engagement at Status Solutions. We are a situational awareness technology company. We work in all fields, all verticals, but our heart is really in school safety and providing schools with the items they need to keep their students, faculty, teachers safe and sound. I'm a former educator, so this is very passionate for me. And we offer our core solution to schools without any financial burden.
That's awesome. And Laura, where do you live now and where are you originally from?
I live in Westerville, a suburb of Columbus, and I'm originally from the north end of Columbus, so I haven't gone real far.
Love it. Well, Kari, welcome to our Ohio Tech Day kickoff program. Same for you, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about yourself and the work you're doing with T-Mobile for Business.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Kari Chad. I am an enterprise account executive for T-Mobile for Business. So my job is to work with companies and schools and government agencies to keep the world connected. We have so many ways to connect by tablets, devices, IoT, and my job is to help people stay connected and keep the world moving. So technology has been my blood since I got out of college. I've been in this industry since 1997, and I love technology. So excited to be here.
Awesome. And Kari, same question for you. Where do you live today, and where are you from originally?
I also live in Westerville, Ohio, proud, but I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. So I have been around this state. I've visited many cities, but I'm a proud resident of Westerville, Ohio now.
That's awesome. And I'm also based in Columbus and Grandview particularly, but I grew up in the Akron area, so also northeastern Ohio like you, Kari. But I went to school also in southwestern Ohio at Miami University. So I've lived in northeast, southwest, now central Ohio. So I'm kind of making my way around the state. But as we kick off, tech, it's something that there's a ton of different jobs. I think that's admittedly something that can be a little difficult about helping students get into tech careers. Because each of us are in tech, we have different types of jobs. And as you work with your colleagues, you're probably going to just today alone talk with people that are doing all sorts of different things, different parts of tech. Sometimes they're at smart startups, sometimes small businesses, sometimes some of the biggest companies in the country. They can be at universities, they can be at nonprofits. So it's a really diverse career field. And so it's not like when you go to the dentist and you see what a dentist does and say, hey, I might like to do that. Or I'd like to be a doctor one day, because you go in and see what a doctor or a nurse does. And so, Laura, tell us a little bit about why tech is such a great career path, but also just the variety of opportunities that you even see at Status Solutions, and what just kind of all the variety and diversity that's out there.
Yeah, I love tech because it's constantly evolving. It's always pushing boundaries. It's always reshaping the way we live. Having grown up in the 80s when tech looked very different than it does now, it blows my mind when you think about how it's changed. I never dreamt I would walk around with a computer in my pocket, which I'm sure makes me sound very old to the kids watching this. But I just love the continual involvement. And at Status Solutions, and really any industry, there are so many ways to be involved in tech. For me personally, I am not a developer. I'm not a coder, but I am a former educator. And so I work with our developers and our coders. I'm what they call the education SME, which means subject matter expert. And so I talk to them about how teachers would actually utilize our solutions in the classroom. I talk to them about the problems that educators in this modern world are having and the best way to combat that and how we can help keep them safe, and not just from horrible crisis situations, but the everyday things that teachers come across, needing a nurse in the classroom, needing to call a custodian, those kinds of things. We have solutions for all of that. And I help bridge that gap between what they need and what our developers can do. And then one step further than that, I work in our community, making sure people are aware of these solutions we have and helping them see that, this little thing that might cause you a great deal of problem can easily be solved with this simple little technology. So it's really about spreading awareness, finding out what problems people are having, and then developing solutions. We're not a product company, we're a solution company. So whatever your problem is, we try to find a way to solve it.
Yeah, that's great. And Kari, how about you and your day-to-day working at one of the biggest companies in the country, and just all the tech variety that you come across, both in what you're doing today, but also in your career?
Yeah, it's amazing how far technology has come. And I'm going to date myself as well, Laura. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, when I was in college, cell phones didn't even exist. So it has been amazing to watch everything grow since then. And me starting at Sprint, I started Sprint in 1997 and helped launch many numerous markets. And just seeing how technology has grown all the way to 5G. And we're at that level right now, connecting and empowering folks to stay connected. We just did our first satellite test in a random area where you can't even get cell phone service. So we are completely just making things happen and help solving real world problems with our technology and seeing that growth. So if you could think about it, way back in 1997, we just had cell phones kicking off. And today we have pocket watches, we have instruments that can keep you connected that are as small as a thumbnail. It's amazing how technology has grown, and the innovation that you see every day. That's what makes me so excited to be in this world and see what new things are being created every day. We were just in a meeting yesterday with Laura and her team, could not believe what they're developing there at her company. And I'm just amazed every day. And I get to help solve those problems and help connect those devices as well. So I'm a small part, but I'm also a big part of it. So tech empowers everybody to help solve in a small little way, but connect and stay innovative and keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we've had a couple references to phones and kind of computers in your pocket, which, it's amazing. There's more computing power in our phones today, than the biggest computers that existed 20 years ago. And just so that rapid growth and kind of, how fast technology moves, and something like AI, when ChatGPT came out, it really democratized, where anyone could hop on chatgpt.com and start using it in prompt engineering. And you can create all sorts of amazing technology solutions in some of these things that are free or almost free. And so, maybe that's a good segue to, we've talked a little bit about, exciting kind of evolutions in the past with phones, but what leaves you excited about, things in the tech industry to come? Maybe it's a cool company that you're seeing, maybe it's a technology, something that is coming to Ohio is Intel, and it's a new plant by Intel Corporation to build semiconductors and the chips that go into phones, that go into our computers, that go into, everything we do. If you have a refrigerator at home where you press a couple buttons, you're using chips there. And so you hop in a car, you're using chips. And so that's going to be built in Ohio. And that's the shirt I'm wearing today, built in Ohio. And so, Kari, maybe we'll go to you. What's a piece of technology or a cool company that you're really excited to see what happens with it in the next couple of years?
Well, I have to say it, generative AI. Artificial intelligence is everywhere, and it's so new to everybody, including ourselves. We're going through all these summits, we're going through all of these tech events, so we're learning as it's being created and leveraging it. It just allows to create content across the mediums, including text, images, music, coding. Every part that we're touching in technology, generative AI is in there. Now, is there a little nervousness about it? Absolutely. But once you start thinking and learning and understanding what AI can do, it is amazing. All of the fascinating things it can do. It can enhance creative processes. It can give graphic designs. It can help with original music scores. Simple things. It can help enhance all of that. So I would say the biggest thing in tech right now is generative AI. And it's only getting better and more interesting and exciting. And I'm excited for our AI summit that's coming up in November. So I'm learning every day as we grow. And I know the students are learning as they go along as well, because my sons are asking me, what is this AI thing? And I'm excited to talk to them about it and have them learn along with me. So I would say that right now, to me, is the most exciting thing going on in tech.
That's awesome. Laura, how about you?
Yeah, I think actually piggybacking off of what Kari said, as far as generative AI, I'm excited to watch it from the education perspective. Former teacher at the EdTech Summit we had with OhioX last winter, that was the main topic of discussion. And the reality is it is not going away. So I think in the education world, there's a lot of fear around it. I'm a former English teacher. I can't even imagine trying to decipher if these kids are using AI to write their papers. And if you're doing that, don't. But I think what we have to do is help empower students and teachers to use it to enhance work, not to cheat. So I'm really excited to see where that's going in teaching responsible use of it. In the same way that when I was teaching, I used to work with my high schoolers on social media. Social media is not going anywhere. So let's learn how to do it responsibly and maturely. And the same thing with generative AI. Use it to help you write an outline. Don't have it write your actual paper. So I'm excited to see where that goes and how the education world can embrace it. On top of that, kind of completely shifting gears, I'm really excited about some projects we're working on with smart buildings and smart homes. These buildings that are being built now are going to have infrastructures like we can't even really imagine, taking into account things like the way the sun is hitting the building, and will a shade automatically come out to help keep the temperatures inside that building down, and just things that honestly my brain can't even fully comprehend. So I'm really excited to see where technology is going to go in architecture also, and infrastructure of actual buildings, because these buildings are going to be here well beyond all of us. So that's exciting to see that involvement and where it's going.
Yeah, and I love how both you mentioned how something like AI, the most kind of bleeding edge emerging technology that's, really revolutionizing business today, but its impact, whether it's on education or architecture or music, Kari, you mentioned, because I think that's something is a perfect example where this technology, every sector and industry, no matter if you want to be a technologist, whether you want to be an educator, you want to be a doctor, everyone's going to be using this technology. So, if you've ever been to the doctor's office and they're taking notes and kind of transcribing what you're saying about how you're feeling for your checkup or your physical, if you're about to play maybe some sports, that's something that they're going to start using things like AI to help them then open up more of their time to spend with patients in kind of the doctor, hospital or physician setting. And so, my biggest takeaway and recommendation was to, work with your parents and your teachers to use the technology, test it, play around with it, because it doesn't matter what sector or industry you'll be in, whether you want to be a teacher or a nurse or a doctor or a firefighter. This technology will be in everything we do moving forward. Just like you have a cell phone and you might ask Siri to help with directions or something like that. So the more people and the more students that are able to kind of run with the technology and use it to their advantage, helping create that first draft of an outline, and then going the rest of the way on your own, you're going to have a real leg up in the workforce to come. And so as we wrap up this Tech Day, conversation, what's one takeaway that you would leave with a student? Maybe something you wish you knew when you were a student, or you would give a piece of advice to maybe your former students or your own children. And so mine would be test and to play around with these things and do it in a responsible, ethical way, but test them out and become experts in just playing around with these things. So maybe Kari, we'll go with you, and then Laura, we'll wrap with you.
One big thing, and I'm encouraging my children to do it now, is join clubs, join a tech club, an online community, network with folks that are interested in tech just like you, get a mentorship going, a lot of hands-on experience. There's so many classes for kids right now that you can join on the weekends, at the rec centers, even at your schools. They're having clubs and events currently right now to learn coding. So take that opportunity to take the time to learn it, to understand it. There's a lot of local organizations that have tech-related clubs that you can get involved in as well. My kids have all been to coding classes. They love it. Now they think they're advanced. I've watched my son start doing some coding, so I'm a little excited and proud of that. So they're getting into that and just learning more. So reach out to your teachers, reach out to your leaders and your schools, and find out, where are some tech communities that I can join? Is there something that's safe for me online to join a community? Always talk to your parents first before joining anything online, of course. But there is some great resources out there that can help you. And also, OhioTechDay.org. We have so many great resources and next steps that you can really read about and encourage you to join things. So I'd say join some fun things, join some communities, but talk to your teachers, talk to your parents, get a mentorship going, get a group going, and really start learning about tech and what it can do for you. And I'm sure you'll be very excited about it.
That's great, Kari. Laura?
Yeah, I mean, really following on what Kari said, I always say everything is figure outable. So just start playing with it, get your hands dirty, for lack of a better term. Look on YouTube safely. There's so many things you can learn. I mean, it doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to be an incredibly time extensive thing. Go to the library, get online and look. You have such a wealth of knowledge at your fingertips. You can self-teach anything. Talk to other kids who are doing it. Join a robotics club. We house a robotics club here at Status Solutions where some Westerville kids come in and build their robots and get involved in things like that. But the main thing is you don't have, and I love this, you don't have to have access to money. You don't have to have access to, fancy equipment or anything. You can just, with a computer and an internet connection, you can really start to learn and figure it out on your own and just go from there, because there's so many industries. Tech is used in everything: healthcare, manufacturing, school, so anything you can think of, tech is a part of, and that's why I love it. So just get in there, figure it out, and you will be so, fluid in where you can go and what you can do with just a little bit of knowledge.
I love that. Well, Kari and Laura, thank you so much for taking the time to share a little bit about your work, your passion for the tech industry. And my biggest takeaway is that there's an incredible opportunity for exploration, whether it's on YouTube or through clubs at school or working with your teachers and parents. And that's something that's really, really exciting because tech is in literally everything we do. So just appreciate everyone for tuning in on this, ohiotechday.org. This YouTube channel, use it as a resource. And we hope that, you consider some tech and innovation careers and help us build the Silicon Heartland here in Ohio. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. And hopefully you can keep exploring all that tech has to offer. Bye-bye.